Summer Show the Monster. I'm Kelly Attaway.
I'm Chelsea Hollander.
And today we are continuing our theme of 1997 with I Know What You Did Last Summer. It's a bop. It's a jam. We're going to get into it. So for those of you who don't know, are you a child? Have you been under a rock? This movie is about a group of pals in high school who the summer after graduation kill a man on the side of the road. And a year later, that man is back to torment them. Turns out he's not dead. Or maybe somebody saw them. I don't know. This is a bad description. Anyway.
I mean, it's a good description, but like...
It's an accurate description. Yeah,
but we're really just jumping into it.
We're just getting there.
Good.
We're just getting there.
Good.
It's a young Jennifer Love Hewitt. It's a young Sarah Michelle Gellar. And some boys.
What? Some boys? We're not going to talk about the boys?
No, we will. I'll let you do it when we get to characters. I'm just being dismissive of them because they were dismissive of the women through the whole movie.
Okay, that's
valid. We're getting into it. So I have another synchronicity for you about this movie. As you and the listener knows, I've been rewatching Criminal Minds. Can't stop, won't stop.
Oh my God.
So I watched this movie last night.
Can I guess?
Yeah, hit me with it.
Is it going to be a character in it or an actor in it is also in Criminal Minds?
No, that's too obvious because Jennifer Love Hewitt had a whole season on Criminal Minds. She was one of the profilers. But no, that's not what I'm talking about.
I didn't know she was one of the profilers. Did I miss that season?
It's a late season.
She's doing a lot of TV. She's also in 911? Not the Austin one. The original 911 show.
What is that?
It's called 911. It's
called is it cops?
Yeah, and it's also, like, it's dispatchers, it's firefighters, and the only cop is
it
Angela
a drama?
Bassett. Yeah.
Angela
It's
Bassett.
from Ryan Murphy. It's a Ryan Murphy
Now,
show.
Ryan Murphy is American Horror Story?
Yes.
Okay.
An American Crime Story.
Okay. So, is this...
And there's a 911 Austin with Rob Lowe. Yeah, she like left a little bit in the season, but yeah, she's still currently it's still airing. Her character just had like an entire episode.
Well, good for her.
Yeah, she's still doing stuff. Love her. So excited to see her grow up. Forgot that they were so young in this.
I know. They're such babies. But here's the synchronicity. So I watched this movie last night. And when I finished it, I was like, Kelly, you should go to bed. But then another part of me was like, you spend all day working at your job and you never have any time to yourself. How about this? You watch one episode of Criminal Minds.
Yes.
So I put this one episode of Criminal Minds on, and it started with a group of teens sitting around telling urban legends. Perfect. And it was the exact same scene. It wasn't the same story, but it was the exact same like back and forth between the characters. Like one character is telling the story and then another jumps in and is like, that's not right. Here's what actually happened. And then another one jumps in and is like, no, you're wrong too. It's this. Like it was the exact same scene with a different urban legend. And I was like, synchronicity.
That was a good scene in the movie. So I'm glad that you got to re-experience it with a set of different actors, lesser known.
Got to double down on it. Yeah, I mean, let's give them 20 years and see where they are.
Yeah, they may get famous.
We'll have to.
Sarah Michelle Gellar was already Buffy at this point,
but only for a couple months. Buffy came out in March '97, and this movie came out October '97.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's pretty quick. I was gonna say Jennifer Love Hewitt. She was in Party of Five?
Oh shit! I didn't know she was in that.
Yeah, they were all kind of known. But I don't know. Is this one of the first movies for all of them to become? I mean, I would hope so because it is. It's great. Some of the writing leaves something to be desired.
What did you remember about this movie? Because I saw this back when it came out in '97, and maybe never again.
I misremembered the end.
Oh,
and
me too.
Oh my god, did we remember the same ending? And it was not the right ending. I was like, man, it kind of sucks that I've seen this movie before because I know the ending and I know that this is what's going to happen. And then the ending happened. I was like, oh, that's not what happened. What movie did I watch?
I guess I remembered like essentially what it was, but basically I just forgot who the bad guy was.
Exactly. I attributed it to the wrong person.
Okay, for a moment, spoilers, skip a minute ahead if you don't want this movie from 1997 spoiled. For a moment, I thought it was Ray.
I 100% thought it was Ray, and I thought I remembered it being him.
We must have just remembered the Billy Blue boat scene.
That's gotta be it. But maybe they did something weird with it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I watched it on TV. I know we talked about this last time. A lot of these movies that I saw in 97, I did not watch via renting or because I was not old enough and my family did not probably want me to watch these movies. But I watched it and I watched it on TV. So I wonder if there was ever an edit that made it seem like it was him. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
But I was like, why the fuck do I? Because I was so excited. I was like, man, it's going to be such a bummer because I know that it's him. And I was like mad at him the entire movie. And then at the end, I was like, oh.
See, I didn't even, like, going into it, I was like, now I remember.
And I was confused because it made Barry smart. And I was like, Barry ain't smart.
No, Barry's not smart. Not at all. Yeah, I don't know. So going into it, I wasn't like, let me start this movie. I remember that it was Ray. But when they go to meet Missy, and she's like, for a second, some guy came after my brother died and he was here to pay his respects. And for a second, we were sweet on each other. I was like, that's Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Billy Blue scene, I was like, I fucking told you.
But then the movie continues on.
And pretty immediately, like the minute. We'll get to that. You're right. We'll get to it. Okay.
I'm afraid we've gone past the minute. And if anybody fast forwarded, I don't want to.
Oh, yeah. I think you're right. I think sorry about that.
I am glad that we both kind of misremembered how the movie went because it made it more entertaining, but I was like, man, I thought these people were adults and they are children and they're acting like children-y children.
They are babies.
The childreniest of the children.
They are so little and like the writing makes it seem like children talking to other children. Mm-hmm. And then the acting abilities is just a mess of children.
For sure. Oh, so like we were talking about Ray, and Ray is played by Freddie Prinze Jr., who I already a little bit loved him. 90s sweetheart.
Yeah,
everyone loved him, and She's All That. Down to Earth, not Down to Head Over Heels, not Down to Earth. That's the Chris Rock movie, right? Anyway, Head Over Heels. No, Down to Earth is the one with Julia Stiles. I don't know. He's in a lot of movies. I feel very positively about him. Also, what's the one? Scooby-Doo. But
yeah, I know him from this and She's All That and Scooby-Doo.
Recently, he's been in, I think, animated Star Wars stuff, and he voices some things, but he was on a podcast, and I don't know if you guys have seen the recording of him. I've only seen clips of it, but the passion that he has when he talks about Star Wars and he goes on this rant, I was like, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Aww. Just the intensity he has about it. And it's like when you see someone that's so excited about what they're talking about and they know it so well. And it's just so good. He wasn't like happy. He was angry with the way somebody else was interpreting Star Wars. And he was like saying that the interpretation was incorrect. And this is the real interpretation because this is exactly what George Lucas said. And it was just like amazing. I don't know. Guys, go check that out if you don't already love Freddie Prinze Jr., but I bet you already do.
Now, he and Sarah Michelle Gellar are married, right?
Yes, still married. They still post cute things about each other on Instagram every now and then. Not enough for me to be concerned, but enough for me to be like, oh.
Mostly I remember a couple summers ago, Sarah Michelle Gellar was posting snacks that she was making for the kids. Mm-hmm. And they were like just average everyday snacks. Like you expect, I don't know, like Sydney Bristow, Loma's alias. What's her name?
Jennifer
Garner. Everything she posts on Instagram is so like curated and like plated. And Sarah Michelle Gellar is like, here's a plate of peanut butter celery I made for my kids. But look, I put it in I organized it to look like a smiley face. And I'm like, Sarah Michelle Gellar. God, celebrities are just like us.
Love her.
Love them. I know that this isn't the movie we're doing, but have you seen all of those memes? Like, there are very few things that Twitter can agree on. And one of them, maybe the foremost thing that Twitter can agree on is that the casting for Scooby-Doo was impeccable.
Oh, 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and so it's Freddie
I like
Prinze
how I'm
Jr.
trying to be like, there's not one person that was miscast.
No, nobody can dissent on that. Like, Freddie Prinze Jr. as Fred, is his name Fred? With the ascot?
Yeah.
Sarah Michelle Gellar as, thank you,
Daphne?
Blondo, as Daphne. I forget her name.
Velma.
As Velma. Yeah, but what's the actress's name?
Oh, Lisa.
Yes.
Linda. Carr.
Yes, you're so close. Yes.
Something Ellie. Like, isn't
Lomas,
it like a...
Lomas Freaks and Geeks.
Yes, and I can't remember her. I can remember the first part of her last name and the last part of her last name, but the middle part is not. This is a weird miss on a name. Is like, I can't get the middle part of it.
Is it really long? Is it like...
No, it's very short. I just can't.
Cardini? Linda? Is it Linda?
I thought there was an L. Is it Linda? Wait.
Cardellini?
I'm gonna look it up. I can't.
I keep thinking Cartheser, but that's somebody else entirely.
Cardellini.
Oh, I was right. I crushed it.
Yeah,
I crushed it. And then, look at this tie-in. And then Matthew Lillard as Shaggy. And the person Matthew Lillard, Scream.
Yes.
Same author for these two movies. Same writer.
Know, that's what I was going to say. Bummer.
Oh, sorry.
Scream and Scream 2. No, he also did, let's add in another one. The Following, that show that with Kevin Bacon
with
that
Kevin
I feel like
Bacon?
I watch all the time.
Fuck.
Where he's like, it has to do with a cult. He's an investigator for a cult, and then he...
Wait, he's an investigator for a cult? Or
no, to
a cult?
try to... No, it's a cult where the main guy is a murderer, and he's like... Or a serial killer, so he's trying to... But they have, like, this weird connection. So he's like his equal, but he's like...
Oh, so is this like a Killing Eve, but with boys?
Maybe.
Have you seen Killing Eve?
The first season.
Oh my god, it's so good. I haven't seen the latest season. It. I can tell that people are feeling a lot of feelings about it, but I scroll over those tweets so fast because I don't want any
That's
spoilers.
Probably smart, yeah.
I should mute those words, but I love seeing Sandra Oh on my timeline, so I can't. I simply cannot.
I don't blame you at all. I liked The Following. It didn't last for very long, but I really liked it, and I was really bummed when it didn't get picked up for another season. Mm. But honestly, anything you put Kevin Bacon in, I'm probably going to love. I'm trying to think of, you made a face. Is there something you don't like with Kevin Bacon in it?
No, I was... No.
You're like, oh God, we're going to talk about Kevin Bacon, and then we're going to lose all of our time to talking about Kevin Bacon again.
That wouldn't be a loss of time. That would be an investment of time. No, I sighed because I was like, part of me was like, challenge accepted. Let me see if I can think of something with Kevin Bacon in that I didn't love. And another part of me was like disappointed in myself for loving everything that Kevin Bacon is in.
I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with that.
There's a new horror movie coming out with Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
I don't know. It looks like it could be pretty problematic. Maybe this is the one that breaks the streak.
Is it they, them?
Yes, I believe so. It's the one about, gosh, I don't watch trailers. So
wait, breaks the streak of what? Not being problematic?
No, of being in movies that we love. He's been problematic. He's been problematic.
I'm so excited for this movie. I feel like we're going to dislike his character. Because I think he's going to portray a character that we're going to dislike, right?
You think so? No, I was hoping he was going to be good. Is there a trailer? I don't watch trailers. I don't watch them. So
I just read
the description. Yeah. So for the listener,
is he not a counselor?
Is he?
Or the owner of the camp?
So for the listener, this is a movie about campers at a gay conversion camp. Is that right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he's a counselor?
I thought so.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't be one of the kids. You're right. So he's got to be a counselor or the bad guy.
Yeah, or the owner of it. He could be the owner of the camp itself. But I'm super excited because, I mean, he's probably going to be the bad guy. But
yeah, he's way too old to be a counselor, huh?
Yeah.
Or I don't know. Maybe it's. I guess there aren't summer camps, are they? He has probably grown-ups who are the counselors at gay conversion camps. I don't mean to laugh at gay conversion camps. Those are bad. We are against them. Never Show the Monster. Fully 100% against gay conversion camps.
And yeah, just their conversion therapy in general.
Conversion therapy. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a big no.
I actually went to a protest against it. So.
Oh shit! Yeah. Hell yeah.
But we are going to eventually
get riled up about it, I
that's
guess.
what we'll whenever that movie comes out, that's when we'll do our Kevin Bacon series. So you guys be on the edge of your seats until then. We know you're here because of your love of Kevin Bacon and not your love of horror movies, and we appreciate that.
We respect it, and I am sorry that we've been teasing you for so long. We're going to do Footloose. We're going to do...
For the horror movies?
Footloose 2.
He's in the second
3
one?
and
or the remake?
4. No, I don't know. There isn't a second one, is there?
Anyway, how did we get...
Gotta cut loose.
How did we get to Kevin Bacon?
Topic.
This got somewhere. Oh, the same writer. So, yeah, the same writer of Scream. Man, that was my fun fact.
I'm sorry. So, same writer did They Them?
No, did The Following.
Oh, okay.
And then we talked about how we love Kevin Bacon.
Okay, yes, thank you.
You guys are just here to be on the train.
We're doing 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, I love this. This is my favorite content. Okay, I'm sorry that I took your fun fact.
No, it's okay. I did not do a ton of research because you guys know what it's like to be tired sometimes.
Y'all ever been tired?
No one here. Not at all. We actually just talk exclusively to people who are tired. So thank you guys. Stay tired.
Stay tired. You know what?
Have some coffee, I guess.
Let's
tea?
boot Happy Spookies as our ending and just say stay tired.
It might be more accurate.
See you next week. Stay tired.
Oh, the second film scripted by Kevin Williamson stars female lead from Party of Five here and Neve Campbell in Scream. So Neve Campbell and Jennifer Love Hewitt were the leads in Party of Five.
Did you ever get them confused?
No, I didn't because I associate her with Wild Things.
What's that?
Oh, The Craft. No, I associate her with The Craft.
Oh, yeah, I guess I do too.
Just 100% The Craft. And I don't think... This is a stupid fact. Sorry.
What is it?
I'm looking at the trivia because I'm like, is there anything cool? Jennifer Love Hewitt auditioned for the role. Oh, no. Okay, that's not the role she got. For the role of Helen. And then Sarah Michelle Gellar auditioned for the role of Julie. So they auditioned for the other person's role.
Oh, that's
fine. They could have been interchangeable. I'm not really that. I'm not married to either character playing either. They both could have played either. I don't think that's... The characters weren't complex enough for me to have cared.
No, I'm just trying to think I don't know. You know what happened is they were like, okay, so we've got a ditzy and a studious, and we can't have the blonde be the studious.
Yeah,
so that's what happened.
Yeah.
They were like, girl with dark hair. She has to be Julie.
Yeah, that's exactly probably what they thought whenever they auditioned both of them. They were like, let's flip it.
Hello, Hollywood, hire me as your casting director.
Let's talk about the movie. We're going to go through this a little bit quicker than I think we go through normal movies, or at least we're going to try to. So, guys, bear with us. So the film starts off with a quick scene about a man, and he's on the edge of a cliff. He's got a pendant necklace. Kelly, I called Petty Kelly. I'm sorry.
We're crashing this.
Okay. Starts off with a scene showing a man that's on the edge of a cliff. He's got this necklace pendant, and then he hears a noise, and then there are some fireworks that happen. Basically, that's the beginning of the film. Then after that, we go to what looks like a fair, and we're watching a teen pageant where Helen, who is Sarah Michelle Gellar, is on stage, and she is basically talking about what she expects of her future. She wants to be an actress. And then we pan up to the balcony, and we see Ray and Barry, and then Ray was Freddie Prinze Jr., and Barry, who we haven't talked about,
I know,
is Ryan Phillippe. And I also was confused at this movie because he was the only one without a third name. So we got Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar. And I know
God.
Junior isn't another name, but everyone has 3. And so I had to look up his name. And his middle name is Ryan. His first name is Matthew. So it's Matthew Ryan Philippi. In my notes, I have him as MRP and everything. And I was like, that's okay. That's fine.
I was hoping that we had like a Mario situation on our hands. I was hoping he was Ryan. Philippi.
We'll call him Ryan for the rest of the film.
Wait, so
also Barry is not a name that I would have. That did not fit. That was a terrible name. And Ray Bronson,
well, it's a small fishing town. They name all of their babies after old men.
I guess so. Julie, Helen, Ray, Barry. It is based on a novel. Was it based on a novel of her grandparents?
Yeah. When did this novel come out? Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, no, but I do have a question.
Yeah.
These two were in that other teen drama. All I remember is Cocaine and a Necklace.
Yes. Cruel Intentions.
Before or after?
Cruel Intentions was definitely after. Yeah.
It was after? How late? Mm-hmm. How much after?
Oh, I don't know how far after.
Okay, no, we got to do the movie. We don't got to do.
No, because he dated. He ended up marrying Reese Witherspoon, and Reese Witherspoon actually she auditioned for a part in this movie and didn't end up getting it or something.
In
like that.
This one, I know what you did last summer.
I might be wrong. I did see her in the trivia, but I didn't read the question hard enough. But it said, and then boyfriend Ryan Philippi. So I was like, okay, maybe I don't know what's going on. But yeah, that's who he dated during the filming of that, and they ended up getting married and having children.
Are they still married?
No. It was kind of dramatic, I think, when it happened. It's very okay. I think we don't like Ryan Philippi. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Certainly don't like him in this movie.
Yeah, maybe that's exactly who he is.
Yeah.
But that's in describing them, Ray, how we're introduced to him is he makes a dumb joke about Helen's boobs, and which is not like his character or like Freddie Prinze Jr., and his character never does anything along these lines for the rest of the movie.
No.
So setting up the character that way did not make any sense. And then Barry says something, and Barry is that way, so that
Barry sucks.
Julie's there, and Julie's Jennifer Love Hewitt. She's like, guys, stop being sexist. And I was like, hi. Then I had this moment where I was like, man, is it the 90s that make you feel like they threw around the word sexist all the time to make women feel like sexism wasn't really about being sexist? Like, men talking about boobs, like, it's not great that they talked about boobs, but that's not what I would be like, oh, you're being super sexist right now. I would say you're being degrading, but I don't think sexist would have been the term I would have used. And I feel like in the 90s, they threw around the term sexist to mean like, oh, if you're talking about, and this could be a wave of feminism that we're in, where it's like, women's bodies are fine, we should celebrate them.
Yeah, I don't know. This is complicated.
Am I getting into a weird part? Well, that's what I thought whenever I heard it. And I was like, man, I remember that happening all the time in movies in the 90s, is someone calling out someone for being sexist, but it doesn't line up with what I consider sexism to be today. I'm not saying that you should say degrading things about women, but I don't know. Even the comment they made about her boobs wasn't that degrading. He was like, oh, her boobs are very perky or pumped up. Is what he said.
Yeah, he was like, I don't remember them being so voluptuous or pronounced.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I didn't think it was that bad. And I was like, and then she like giggled.
I think that it is sexist because you wouldn't look like
judge a man's pecs in a similar setting.
I wasn't even going to say pecs, right? Because men consider women's breasts sexual organs. So you wouldn't look at a man and be like, oh, I can really see his wiener through those gym shorts or whatever. And if you did, that would be like very jarring to people. Like, I think that it's a double standard situation.
Okay. I see what you're saying. All right.
But I don't know. But you're right. Waves of feminism all have different definitions of what these words mean. And I don't even know what wave we're in right now, to be totally honest.
It felt like a weird thing that they threw in to try to establish who Julie's character was, but it also felt weird to her character. Like, you knew she was the good girl that kind of, this is how you like get set up with her, is like, you understand that she's trying to be more moral than the boys.
Yeah, she's the goody two shoes of this group.
Yeah, exactly.
Helen is down there. I just want to be clear that she's in a bathing suit and she is loving the attention. So she's a different type of gal than Julie.
Yes. And then Helen is crowned queen.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah. So then after this, we kind of go to a beach party and we meet a few extra characters. We get to meet Helen's snobby sister, Elsa. You can tell they don't have a great relationship. And then another guy whose name is Max. And I had him listed as the guy from Roseanne like 50 times in my notes until I finally figured out his name was Max. You guys might know him as Johnny Galecki. He was in Roseanne. He was in Big Bang Theory. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When I saw him, I was like, nerd. Like, immediately, I was like, Big Bang Theory.
And he was trying to come up to Julie because they knew each other, but it seemed like he was trying to be a nice guy.
No.
And it was very weird. No.
Sorry.
Nice guy in quotes.
Oh, like
you should hang out with me. I talked to you all year or something.
Okay,
like it was a very
see.
weird, one of the like nice guy, you know.
He's incel. He's 4chan.
Yeah,
he's Fedora. Sure. He's men's rights activist. Why don't women like me? I'm a nice guy. Max.
Yeah, that one. That's the one. Yeah, exactly.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she feels uncomfortable, and then the boys show up, and Barry just immediately, I don't even know if they're having a conversation, but he just immediately shoves him, and Barry sets up that he's very violent, and he just exudes toxic masculinity. Man, this is going really deep into male and female roles in the 90s. I did not expect that.
To be clear, this movie is like a fun romp. Give her a watch.
But we're looking at it through a different lens right now than we did when we were younger. So,
but yeah, those are like almost word for word what my notes were. I was like, Barry equals toxic masculinity. Is this dude on steroids? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah.
Because he like fights at every opportunity. Yeah. Like physically.
Never talks anything out. He hates words to express or to resolve conflict.
Yeah, no. He likes fisticuffs.
And it gets worse later. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we meet both of these. Barry just shoves Max down. You can tell that, Barry's a bully. And they go down to Dawson's Beach. And I was very excited about this because I was like, oh, is it by Dawson's Creek? That was a really dumb thing I said. But whenever she said, I was like, oh, that's fun. This is full 90s. This couldn't be more 90s if I wanted it to be.
Dawson just had a lot of bodies of water.
Yeah. Yeah. So now they are down at the beach, and this is the scene that Kelly was talking about earlier with her synchronicity. Ray starts telling this urban legend about a couple somewhere, and they're in a car, and then they hear, you guys know this story.
You know this one.
Yeah, and we all have a different ending. What was your ending? Like, what did you know as it?
I don't know. I think that I heard too many. I didn't have one. I heard the variations. The two that I have. Okay, so this is the one where it's like a couple is making out at like
Makeout point.
Makeout point. Thank you. I kept trying to use the word necking and was like, nobody says necking anymore. What? Yes, makeout point. And an escaped patient of a nearby insane asylum. That's not
mental hospital
say anymore, but like I don't know what you call it anymore. But yeah, growing up, it was insane asylum. An insane asylum inmate has escaped, and he has a hook for whatever reason. And either the boyfriend gets out of the car to investigate and the boyfriend is murdered, or there's scraping on the hood of the car and then he gets out to investigate and finds whatever, or they drive away and when they get home they find the inmate's hook in the car.
The hook is the one that I knew, and I think that that's the one that corresponds to the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark story.
See, I didn't read Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, so I just heard it from hearsay.
Okay.
But
I mean, that's wrong.
So in all of these, I imagined a hook. So that must have been like pervasive.
I think it was, because I think that's what they said on the radio whenever they talked about him. So then you would associate the scratching.
Oh, that's right. I forgot the radio. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So while the couple is making out, they hear an alert on the radio that this inmate has gotten out, and they describe the hook. Did they just let him have a hook in the hospital?
Maybe he grabbed it on his way out.
Why do we have hooks in the hospital?
I don't know. Maybe it was like his personal items when he went into the hospital. I'm not sure.
Do you think this could have been Candyman?
I thought about looking up the story because he is very adamant that it's based on real stories that happen. And I didn't look it up. So,
listeners, write in. I said that as a joke, but like legitimately, if you have this urban legend, if you remember this from your childhood, write in with your variation. We would love to hear and like let us know where you were. We want to hear regions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah, so then he's like very adamant about it being real. And then the two couples are together and they separate. And I do want to talk about Barry and Helen together because Helen seems very realistic about their future together. She's talking about her being on like a soap opera and then him having to go to rehab.
I know.
And I was like, what, girl, come on. If you know that's going to happen, maybe... And they seem happy about it. It seems like a happy ending for them to be in that.
Yeah, they're like flirting. She's like, you'll go to rehab. Wait, in her storyline, she was like, I'm going to go be on, it was like Guiding Light. Like she named a soap opera.
Yes.
And then you were going to be a famous quarterback. And then I can't remember the order where she said, I will let you impregnate me and we will have the first of our children. Was that before or after rehab? I feel like it was
maybe
before.
During?
I feel like she said like, I will let you impregnate me and then you will go to rehab. And I was like,
good.
All right, Helen.
I was like, I mean, it seems likely. I like the realism here. I feel good about your future. I like that you're keeping it real. And then
She's giving single mom. We love it.
And then they basically go back to Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt, Ray and Julie. They just kind of talk about how they're dating and sad about college, and then which I assume she loses her V card, but that seems super inconsequential to the story, and that scene should have been cut out. I don't think that it was necessary.
Yeah, I don't know. I understand why they kept this combo here between them because Ray is like, okay, so Julie is destined for Harvard. They never say Harvard, but they're like, you're going to go to school in Boston and be a lawyer. Like she's going to Harvard. And Ray is not doing that. And he comes from like a working class family. Like the three other ones are rich, I guess. They make a couple comments about that throughout. But the combo here is Ray is like, nobody gets me like you do. And she's like, I understand your pain. And he's like, exactly. And then they bone.
Yeah.
So like, and that conversation comes back later. No spoilers.
Yeah, absolutely no spoilers on that one. After this, everyone finishes, and they all head back to the car.
Does everyone finish? That's my question. Did the women finish?
Of course not. They're in high school.
Of course not. They did not. Okay. The boys finish, and then we all come back together.
Anyway, so they go back to the car, and Barry's trashed, and they only have his car. And it turns out that Ray didn't drink anything, and he was like, I'll drive. And then Barry's kind of adamant about him not driving, and then they end up getting in the car. And Ray is driving. Barry, since he can't drive, he's going to be a little bitch. And he is acting a fool, turning up music, hanging out the sunroof. And then he drops his bottle of alcohol onto Ray. And Ray runs into something. I think that we kind of alluded to what it was at the beginning.
Yeah, sorry.
They hit something, and then there is a part where Barry has blood all over his face.
Yeah.
And immediately he's like, it's not my blood. And I was like, how the fuck do you know if it's not your blood? Like, unless you like sit and you assess if you have any cuts. He did not assess. He's also very drunk. How could he tell it wasn't his blood? Also, how did that blood get up there right directly on his face? What part of the body hit him hard enough to spray enough blood to make that happen? I have so many questions.
It was face-to-face collision.
It didn't make sense. This is the hardest part of the entire movie for me to follow.
Yeah, the rest of it is fine.
Yeah, it is. It's logical and everything lines up. So they get out of the car, and this is where they're like, well, what did you hit? And Julie finds a boot with some blood on it. And she screams, and I remember being like, that scream is kind of out of place. Just because it was like, she goes around the corner, everyone's quiet, she screams, everyone's still quiet, and I was like, this was unnecessary. But
no, it felt very awkward, that scream. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's her role in Boy Meets World. She plays Jennifer Love Pfeffy, and that's what she does is she screams constantly. Like, she's the scream queen in that episode. And it wasn't my favorite episode of Boy Meets World. Yes. Will I watch it over and over again every Halloween? Yes. Is it amazing? Yes. So I definitely recommend that if you guys want a good Boy Meets World episode. So she finds the body whenever she screams. Obviously, they call an ambulance. And because Ray hadn't been drinking, they made sure to check the blood alcohol level and found him not at fault.
Yep.
Just kidding, guys. They totally didn't do that. Of course they didn't. They argued for a while, and then they decided to drop his body in some water.
Yep.
Killing it. Literally. So as they're trying to get rid of the body, there's a car that drives up, and it turns out it's Max just coming up being like, hey guys, he looks super suspicious. Barry's pretending to vomit over the side or actually vomiting. I couldn't really tell I was like, is he actually vomiting? And he's like morally dealing with what they're going through right now. No,
well, no, it wasn't morally. Like, I believe that he was vomiting, but it's because he's been sipping out of a bottle of whiskey for the last 3 hours.
Good point. And there were a lot of curves. There's got to be a lot of motion sickness in that moment.
Yeah, he was in the back.
Yeah, and they were able to, they were able to convince Max that, I mean, he was suspicious, but he kept driving, so chill is chill. So they get the body down to the docks, and they set the body down, and then Julie kind of has an argument about wanting to see who he is, so Helen goes to grab his wallet to get an identification, and then the body grabs Helen. You guys, great news. He's alive.
Yeah.
He didn't die. So they call an ambulance. They get him cleaned up. Everything's understandable because he was walking on the middle of the road on really curvy roads in the middle of the night.
Movie.
That's not what happened. They murder him.
Yeah.
Instead of, doing what you should do, they hit him and then kick him over the side. But as he is going down, he does grab Helen's crown. So Barry jumps in after him, and Barry goes to grab the crown, and the body opens its eyes. Barry freaks the fuck out, and because he can't deal with emotions, and he gets up, and then he kind of just screams at everyone that, like, we have to have a pact. This is a pact. We're never going to talk about this again. And he's just screaming at everyone, and everyone's agreeing, and then Julie's hesitating to agree. And this is the moment that his toxic masculinity was like the worst. And he goes up and he like grabs her face and screams in her face. I had discomfort with the scene because I get concerned because I know we're talking about like 90s movies and how, and as I said last episode, I was raised on TV. I was raised on these movies. So it leads you to believe that certain situations are kind of normal. And I feel like this is one that made light of that or made me feel like that kind of violence was normal.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel conflicted. I don't feel like the movie was saying this is normal. But I wonder if I'm coloring it with my own opinions. So it felt like throughout this movie, everybody was like, Barry, stop. Like, Barry, calm down.
Yeah.
Barry, what the fuck? So this felt like another what the fuck scene. But
yeah, I just feel like that people didn't step in hard enough for whenever they were like, what the fuck, Barry?
So that's what I wanted to talk about in the scene is earlier when Barry attacks Max, Ray steps in. And now when Barry is attacking Ray's fucking girlfriend, he takes a step closer, but he just stands next to them. Yeah. He doesn't do anything. Ray, you're bigger than Barry.
Yep.
Stop him. But Barry is on steroids, so I don't know.
Yeah, Barry's a very violent dude. And it seems like Ray is, I mean, other than helping murder someone, a pacifist, I guess.
Yeah.
But that was a scene where I was just like, I feel like that was so common in movies at that time. Like I had seen that so often that I was like, I feel like this is a commonplace thing, and I did not like it. I remember watching it and being like, bleh.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't like, yay, Barry. No, I definitely was like, gross.
I'm glad it's something that's called out more often now and like something that doesn't slide as easily. So, yeah, that was a scene that I just was like, all right, so now it's 1 year later, and we see Julie in her dorm room. She's looking super distraught, like she's been through something, because, she has. And then someone basically comes by her door and tells her to pack up. I can't tell if this person is an RA or her friend.
She calls her like pasty ass bitch.
Okay, so friend.
This has got to be friend.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Well, it could be just a very friendly RA. She does end up driving her home, but it doesn't seem like their relationship from Julie's side is that close.
I don't think that Julie's close with anybody at this
point.
That's she's
very
been
true.
Through it. She's been through
That's
the
why
ringer.
She's the RA.
Okay, yeah.
She's just a very concerned RA.
You're right.
She could be her only friend. We don't really know anything about this character, but we do want to follow her in the sequel. No, I'm just kidding. The sequel doesn't have her. It has Brandy. Anyway.
I forgot that.
Yeah, it's got Brandy. So are we saying we're going to do that for another series? Okay. Glad
let's do it next week. Sorry, Spawn. Okay, go on.
Now she goes home and it's her first home. It's the first time she's home. I think since she started college.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom is, being how moms are, where they kind of like insult and concern at you. And they're like, "Are you feeling okay? Because you look like dog shit." And so she's basically just really mean to her for a bit. And she's like, "Yeah, I know. I look like dog shit. Thanks, friend."
She's fully like, "Are you on drugs?"
Yeah. And she's like, "Dad will be rolling in his grave." And she's like, "Oh my God, Mom, what the hell?"
That seemed so mean.
Yeah.
Don't say that. Don't say that to your child.
It's pretty bad. And she's already like not doing well. So obviously the mother's not very empathetic or really cares about how her daughter is doing. It does not go well. You can tell that she was very excited to leave, probably for more reasons than just what happened last summer.
The big deal is that she was like, I mean, like we said, she was a goody two-shoes and like straight A's in high school. And now she's like in danger of failing out her first year at Harvard. So Mom's disappointed. And
at this point, we see her mom brings her and says, you got this letter. The letter has no postmark or return address. And I just have the letter as the title of the movie.
Yeah, I was like, guess what it says? Guess what it says, you guys.
So it just says, "I know what you did last summer." She freaks out and she's just staring at the note in the dark at this. Like, time goes by and then she's just sitting in her room staring at the note in the dark. And then she hears noises outside and then she closes her window. And then the next day, there's some sunny, upbeat music and she's driving into downtown of their little city. And she goes to a local clothing shop, it seems like. And we see Elsa, as we know is Helen's sister, working at the front desk. And she's like, hey, give me Helen's New York number, because I know that Helen moved to New York. Mm-hmm. And then Elsa laughs and basically says, nope, she's a perfume lady. She didn't do anything with her life. She didn't go anywhere.
God, Elsa's a bitch. Listen, Elsa, you work in this fucking mall too. So
I don't know why she's so mean to her. Like, they went through the same thing. They're both adults. I don't get it. I don't get why. It seems like it might be jealousy, because she does make comments about her sister winning a bunch of stuff and how nice her hair is. And she's kind of a bitch about it
too. Elsa's
she
a pretty
really
lady.
is. So I don't know what her
get that
deal
sneer
is.
off her face.
So then Julie goes over to talk to Helen, and Helen's kind of like fumbling around, but excited to see Julie. And then Julie just straight up is like, somebody sent me a letter. This is what it says. Let's not talk about the niceties or why I didn't go to New York or why we haven't spoken in a year. We should focus on this one letter. So things start going pretty fast, actually. And I just have Barry's a bitch for the next line.
I mean, that's essentially
They go over
true.
to Barry's house. They go over to Barry's house, and he's like in a wife beater, and he's, I think that they should have like given that information on the ride over, but they get there and she's like, oh, you guys aren't together anymore. They're obviously not together. And yeah, Barry's just kind of a terrible garbage human being in a very nice large house.
Oh, it's his mom's house. We see her in the background on the phone. Yeah, he's living with his parents. This
is where Julie's like, oh, I know who he was. His name was David Egan. He was found 3 weeks later. It was in the paper. They said it was an accidental drowning.
Yeah.
So that's how they find out who it was. So she never got to see the wallet whenever they kicked the body into the water, but they found the body 3 weeks later.
I was so shocked that neither Barry nor Helen
knew that in the local news a body was found.
Exactly. Like, if I fucking killed a man, I'm watching the news like a hawk. Like, I'm buying a newspaper subscription. I'm buying the online subscription. It's $97. The internet is only a year old. I'm like,
well, they do look at newspapers on the.
Oh,
that's how they find out. Yeah, they do end up looking at newspapers.
Yeah, but I'm like
laptop.
Watching the news every
to
day.
See what happens.
Every day.
I mean, his clothes were covered in blood. The front of his car is covered in blood.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much blood everywhere on everything. And even if he cleaned it up, parents aren't suspicious. There's a body. I mean, I guess Barry doesn't care about anything except for, like, I don't know, his roids. I'm not sure.
Then they go to find Ray at the docks.
Barry thinks it's Max that did it because Max drove by.
Mm-hmm.
They go to the dock. Wait, they don't think that they'll see Ray. They happen to see Ray while they're down there.
True.
They go to see Max.
Yeah, you're right.
Because they assume it's Max. So Barry does what he does, and he just kind of, like, beats up Max.
Mm-hmm.
And then Max has a hook, and then he puts the hook in the ice. So basically, Barry's being a bitch, and he threatens him, and he's very accusatory. Max has no idea what's going on.
And kind of neither do the girls. Barry keeps being like, you stay here. And then he goes and beats up Max. And then when he comes back, they're like, what did you do? And he's like, I handled it.
Yeah.
Shut up, Barry.
Then we see on the docks as they're walking, we get to see Ray again.
Mm-hmm.
He is looking a little disheveled, but his wife beater is brand new.
Oh, yeah. He's squeaky clean.
Yeah. I was like, this doesn't make any sense for the work that he's doing. Very suspicious.
He's a fisherman now. And looks like he smells good. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Which doesn't make sense.
No.
For fishermen.
No. Yeah. No. To be clear, I'm not like, love a man who smells like salmon. Like that's not.
Salmon might be fine. Tilapia,
fresh
maybe
salmon?
Not.
Fresh salmon?
Fresh salmon's good, right?
Like salmon out of the ocean?
Low key. Sometimes I like to go to the Ballard Locks and watch the salmon swim upstream. It does smell a little funky sometimes. But
see,
not
that's
all
what I'm
the
saying.
time.
But like, you're not gonna dab a salmon scented perfume on to go out for a night. Oh, are you?
Yeah, why not? I mean, like,
Okay.
I gotta. Who am I trying to attract? I don't know. I feel like I mostly try to repel.
Bear of a boyfriend? You're like, yeah, he's a brown bear. He loves to catch salmon.
Salmon. So people that want bears do salmon perfume. Oh my God, should we start a new perfume line?
Yes, absolutely we should.
I think we found our calling. You guys, we're going to quit. And
yeah, actually,
salmon perfume.
Thank you for joining us. Tune in sometime in the future when we have figured out the ethers to make salmon scent.
I feel like we could figure it out pretty quickly. So we got a fresh smelling Freddie Prinze Jr. hanging out, and Julie's basically like, "Here, I got this letter." They have a weird interaction.
This actually bummed me out. I took down some lines. Is it okay if I read them?
Yes, please do, because I have what the fuck. She just runs away all the time.
Okay, so her running away is part of my notes because that was so comical. Helen and Barry like walk away for a second so Julie and Ray can have a private conversation. And Ray tries to discuss the murder. He's like, I know you think I'm responsible for what happened. And she's like, I don't hold you responsible. I'm responsible for my own actions and I don't blame you, but I don't want to know you. And then she literally runs away.
Yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. That was the most ridiculous.
It was so funny. And she's like in overalls, so she looks like a little kid throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. And it's not the last time it'll happen is the best part about this movie.
Oh, this movie.
So then after this beautiful scene, we are with Max, and he's alone in the little ice area again. And then we see kind of like a shadowy figure, and Max gets murdered with a hook.
Yeah.
Shocking. It goes straight up through his chin. It's a pretty brutal murder.
It's real brutal, yeah.
Super intense. Pretty sure that was edited out of the TV version that I watched as a child. And
so he uses the hook that Barry threatened Max with earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like such a critical part of this character. Like, sorry to go Criminal Minds on this, but like, what a disorganized killer. I'm just saying, like, what was his plan here? To just observe? And then he was like, ooh, notice that hook. Let me kill Max? Like, Max isn't even really part of this.
Yeah, because he does end up using the hook. He's just kind of like it's not a spree killer. He kills just a bunch of people regardless of motive.
Yeah, he's in like berserker mode for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But
I
Max
just thought
didn't do it. Like,
funny.
Max was the only one who was like suspicious.
Max
maybe it was his suspicion.
Sucks. I think that maybe he was trying. Okay, here's my theory about this movie.
Is it a test to see if he can murder someone and not get caught?
I hadn't even gone that far.
I don't think that that's a place that it went to either.
I was thinking that we just killed Max because he was on the road that night. Here's my theory about Max. So do you remember in that first scene at Dawson's Beach?
Mm-hmm.
Max is trying to get Julie to take a Jell-O shot. And she's like, no, it's slimy. I don't want to. Mm-hmm. I think that he was trying to roofie Julie.
Oh, for sure.
But Barry ends up taking that shot. I think that that's why he was so fucked up that night.
Oh.
I think Barry got roofied by Max. Ryan. I think that Ryan Felipe? Philippi? What is it? Felipe? Oh, Philippi.
Ryan Philippi.
I think that Ryan Philippi took a roofie for Julie.
He might have, but he was kind of off his rocker. But I feel like he wouldn't have remembered what happened that night.
Oh, no, he drank enough that he was going to be fucked up anyway. Like, plot of the movie, I don't think changes
with
whether or not.
How messed up he is.
Yeah.
I agree.
Sorry, anyway, I was just saying that to like...
That's a good point. I didn't even notice that, but I feel like that's most likely his angle.
I'm just saying I'm on the scary fisherman's side in this scene.
Yeah, that's valid.
Like, you're killing Max. He's a date rapist.
There's a decent amount of scenes that I'm like, well, I mean...
I kind of get it.
So then the next scene is Barry is boxing at a gym, getting his workout in, and he goes to shower. He sees a shadow. He says, hello. Not like that. It's more like, hey.
Yeah, because he's like already ready to fight.
Yeah. I feel like, it's not a subtle, hi, is anybody there? He then gets done with the shower and he goes over to his locker, and in his locker is a Polaroid of his car that says, I know. Mm-hmm. So he thought he already took care of Max, so he was a little angry and a little upset, and he has no other emotions. He was just angry.
Yeah, that's really him. Full tilt, whole time.
Yeah, and he sees like a shadow, so he runs across the room, and then he hears something by his locker, and then he runs back to his locker, and his locker is open, and his jacket is gone. And then he goes by the front desk, and the front desk guy, he's like, is there anybody else here but me? And he's like, nah, just us, man. And then he walks out, and then someone has stolen his car. Mm-hmm. But they didn't go very far with it. They just kind of backed up.
Yep.
And then they went forward into Barry.
Lol. Suck it, Barry.
And then he comes out. He's in like a fisherman's slick. Is that what it is?
Slicker.
A fisherman's slicker. And walks
hat.
over to him. And then we cut to the next scene.
Which I guess is Barry in the hospital? Is that what happens?
Yeah, hospital. Ray and Julie are already there.
No, Ray and Helen are there, and then Julie shows up.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, SMG. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ray and Helen are there, and Barry is there, and he's pretty beat up, and he says it's some guy messing with them, and he was in a slicker.
Mm-hmm.
And he points out that Ray has a slicker.
Because Ray's a fisherman.
Mm-hmm. And then he's like, don't go there, man. And then that's kind of the end of that part. Julie is there. She's the one who just came in. Then they walk out, and then they go to the elevator. They're like arguing about something. And then Ray says, I want to talk about you. And then she's like, there is no us. And then she runs out the door again. Yeah. She does a lot of running out. So this is another time when she runs out. So they basically aren't getting anywhere. They're just like, somebody's messing with us. And then Helen and Julie go and look at a laptop, and then they're looking at newspapers, and they're like, we got to look up this Egan fellow, and we got to see what's going on with him, David Egan. So then they find out that David Egan, a year before, had gotten into a car accident, and his fiancée, Susie, had passed in the accident, but he was unharmed.
Yep.
So that's how they find out what happened with him. And then they find out that he's survived by his mother and his sister, who live a couple miles out of town, it sounds like.
Sorry, I just want to be clear. Not a year before today in the actions of the movie, but a year before the accident.
Yes. Yeah. A year before the accident.
Yeah. So 4th of July, 2 years ago, Susie and David get in an accident. Susie dies. A year ago, 4th of July,
they murder
our gang of
someone.
Dorks get into an accident.
Exactly. Yeah. So then Julie and Helen decide to go out and visit the family to see if they can find more answers as to what's happening and see if maybe the family might be involved or at least get an idea of what's going on. They drive out to the middle of nowhere,
They call it the Sticks.
They call it the Sticks.
Yeah.
And it's like this old house, and they walk up to it. No one answers the door. So then they try to go in through a window, and then an adorable Anne Heche shows up.
Who's Anne Heche? This woman was adorable.
The actress. No, the actress who plays her.
I understand that it was the actress's name, but I mean, like, how do I know her? Who is she?
She was really big in the 90s. Didn't she date Ellen?
She dated Ellen.
Did I make that up?
The Ellen?
Yeah, she dated Ellen for a long time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this broad is so fucking cute.
She's adorable.
She's so cute. And oh my God. My notes for this. Okay.
All right, I love her outfit, but I understand that they were trying to make it seem like she was really a hick. But her outfit was just so timeless and comfortable.
No, those weren't my notes, but I agree with all of those sentiments. My notes were like, okay, so what's their plan here? To like roll in and be like, hi, we're curious about your dead brother. No reason. Ha ha ha. Second of all, and I know we need to talk about what happens in the scene, but when Helen and Julie leave, Missy is like, come on by whenever you like. I never get any visitors anymore. Like,
yeah.
Oh, Missy's just so lonely.
I was like, I want to be friends with Missy. I don't. Can we watch a movie with her and just her?
Well, so that was my question. Is she the bad guy in the sequel? That's not. I have no memories of the sequel. I was just like, feels like she's being set up to be a bad guy at some point.
I don't remember the sequel either. I did 100% watch the sequel, but I misremembered this one, so I'm not even going to try to guess who. I thought it was the same. Based on the ending, it makes sense it was the same.
Agreed, based on the ending. But when I took this note, I hadn't seen the ending since 1997, so this was just me speculating wildly.
I did start watching the second one because of the way that the first one ended. I was like, how did they pick that back up for a sequel?
I do remember that the second one ends the same way, essentially, with Slicker Man jumping out from under a bed.
That sounds about right.
That's fully all I remember from the second one, and I'm only about 20% sure that that's true.
I think you're correct.
Thank you.
I have no reason to believe that's not true. So we're gonna go with it. Where were we?
Yeah, sorry. They just got to Missy's house.
Oh yeah, they got to Missy's. We're about to meet Missy, so they try to get into the window, and then she's like, "What are you guys doing?" Mm-hmm. And then they have to try to explain. They were like, "Our car broke down. Can we use your phone?" And then they kind of are like, you look familiar. Did you graduate from, or she said she graduated from the same high school as them. And she's like, oh yeah, did you have a brother? And then she was like, yeah, he's younger than me, but she's a little kind of like dodging their questions. She seems a little off, not a lot. And she basically said she lives alone because her mom is now in a home because she didn't take the death of her brother very well. And they're trying to just like figure out what's going on. And Helen's like, oh yeah, he used to have a really good friend. What's his name? Trying to figure out who else that David could have hung out with to try to narrow down who might be messing with them.
Because that's their theory. I don't think that we've said that yet.
Like, yeah, they just said that someone was messing with them, but they don't know exactly.
Yeah, they believe that they killed David, and so one of David's family members or friends is hunting them and knows what they did last summer.
Yeah, so they're trying to figure out exactly who that could possibly be. And then Missy's like, yeah, there is one guy, and Kelly talked about him earlier. And
sorry.
They were sweet.
I love to spoil the movies.
Yeah, don't be. I mean, you guys are listening to a podcast about the movies. I hope you watched it. If you didn't, then I hope you enjoy hearing about it all ramble-jamble.
That's came out in 1997, you guys.
It's okay. Yeah, this is kind of inconsequential. Anyway, so she's like, yeah, his name was Billy Blue. Mm-hmm. Is basically what she says. They were sweet on each other. It didn't end up going anywhere. She said he felt like he was sad when he was with her.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad. I feel like, I don't know. I'm definitely shipping him and Anne Heche.
Oh, yeah, ditto. And I have relationships like that where it's like hard to be around somebody because of your mutual past. So that was a bummer.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it. Let's
That's okay. Like, we can keep talking about how cute Missy is. So then
she's so cute.
So cute. And she ends up just telling them that, and then they're like, oh, I think the cars, we gotta go.
They allegedly call AAA, and they're like, we gotta go
wait for. Well, and she was being so sweet. She was like, "Can I go make you guys some tea?" Mm-hmm. And like, she wanted to just kind of hang out with some ladies, so she had some lady friends around for a little bit, is what it seemed like, and it was kind of sweet. So then they walked down to the car, and then they're talking about it, and they're like, basically, who is Billy Blue? And then they're sitting in the car, not really talking about anything, but then they hear a scream and a bang on the window, and it is Missy being like, so your car's working now. And she's like, you can tell she's like uncomfortable. Like, it was like, she's on to us. And then they drive away. She's like, yes, we're working. I don't know what's happening. You know, that time when you pretend your car's not working and you run away.
Yeah, it was very awkward.
And then there was like kind of a heartfelt moment between Helen and Julie, and Helen just trying to talk about how much she misses the friendship and how she's sad that they're not friends anymore.
But she's also like trying to comfort herself. She's like, maybe he wanted to die. Like you heard the story. His girlfriend died. Maybe he wanted this. Maybe he wanted this. And Julie is like, yeah, whatever helps you sleep at night. Like,
man, Julie's being so harsh to her. It's rough.
Y'all really should have called the cops. Hashtag ACAB.
Helen gets home and she's super sad, and her dad's drinking and watching sports. She tries to go in and she's like, hey, Dad. And then he just kind of ignores that she's there. And then we see the rain slick person come in.
I'm sorry. We got to talk about something that happens before he comes in. She goes to the kitchen
to pour it.
And she pours a Diet Coke into a pint glass.
Yes.
And she chugs the whole thing. She drinks the whole thing in one go.
That's how you get through it.
How did she not do that without hiccups?
Ooh, it's flat. She get it from the fridge, or did she get it from the pantry?
She got it from the fridge, but maybe she shook it up.
Yeah, maybe. Because you can do it if it's flat. Maybe they refrigerated it, left it out, and then refrigerated it again because that's how she likes her Diet Coke. Flat.
Yeah, maybe she had already opened it that morning for like an evening treat when she got home.
She knew she was going to have to drink it quick, so she planned that out.
I don't know. She also just leaves the empty can and the used glass on the counter.
That's garbage.
Distressing.
Put it away, guys.
Put that away. You're in the kitchen. The sink is right. I'm not even asking you to put it in the dishwasher. Put it in the sink. I would even accept counter next to the sink.
Yeah.
But like over here on the island, what are you doing? What is it that you're doing? That. Sorry. I will get off my I'm sorry. That upset me.
Oh, and now I'm just thinking of flat Coke, and I'm sad.
Yeah.
But
sorry, could you put a flat Coke into your soda stream and let it recarbonate it?
Ew.
I'm not asking should you. I'm asking could you.
I'll try it this weekend.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We'll report back in the next episode. That means I have to go buy a Coke, and then I have to.
So funny. I was worried you were going to be like,
leave it out.
I just have to go buy a soda stream.
No, I carbonate my water, man, of course. Trying to be more environmentally friendly by having a soda stream over buying a bunch.
Okay, you're better than me. Got it.
No, I still buy the cans because it's so difficult to keep my soda stream bottles clean. Because I can't put them in the dishwasher and it takes too long to clean them. Anyway, So now the rain slick man has gone up the stairs while she is pouring herself this beautifully flat Diet Coke. And she heads up the stairs shortly after Rain Slick Man has gone up, and he goes into her closet. Or she. The character goes into... It's okay, it's a he. He goes into the closet. And then she's like getting ready, and she's combing her hair, looking very sad into the mirror. And then Elsa, her bitchy sister comes in and is like, you have to be at the clothes store tomorrow. And she said, no, I am the queen. I have to give my crown to the next incoming queen. And she was like, nope, you have to go work at the store. And she was like, no. And then Elsa makes fun of her hair because she's a bitch. And
what a bitch.
Yeah. Jesus. She's like, you care so much about your hair. You're so vapid or whatever. And so sad Helen goes to sleep.
I will say her blanket has frills on it.
Which fits.
I thought that it was like, you know what it looks like? Oh, God, maybe this is very Southern now that I'm thinking about it. Did you ever do this? My bitchy stepmom growing up was so intent on things looking perfect that she bought those like bed skirts that you put over the box spring and then you sandwich your mattress over it. Oh, yeah. I don't know. When Helen pulled up this blanket, I was like, that's a skirt. That's a bed skirt. Mm-hmm. You're bed under skirts. A bed skirt.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know if it's just a Southern thing. Maybe it's an old people thing. My grandma definitely has bed skirts on everything.
Yeah, maybe it's just old. Yeah, sorry. So she goes.
I'm trying to remember the last time I saw a bed skirt aside from my grandma's house.
Oh, I haven't seen one.
Should I get a bed skirt?
No.
Just kidding. Psych, guys. I tricked you all. Just kidding.
Sorry, no offense. If you love bed skirts, we support you.
I mean, a little bit of offense, I guess.
A little bit of offense.
I put stuff under my bed all the time. And there are times when I'm like, I might want a bed skirt because under my bed is terrible.
Just don't get a ruffly one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, of course. I would get much like everything else in my bedroom, a gray one. Everything's gray. So it would just be gray on gray.
Like clean lines. Home decor podcast strikes again.
Hey guys, this is Chelsea here. We ran into some technical difficulties again, and we didn't have to re-record, but we did have to split the movie into 2 sessions. Hope you can join us next week when we talk about the conclusion of I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I tell you if I was able to recarbonate a flat soda. Remember, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, at NoShowMonster, and you can email us at noshowmonster@gmail.com. Don't forget to rate 5 stars and review. Thanks, guys. Happy Spookies!